Watch it, princess. The hot coffee splashed across his chest, but he didn't even flinch. She gasped. Everyone in the cafe turned. The billionaire heiress, glowing in white silk, diamonds in her ears, hair like she stepped off a runway, stared in horror at the man she just collided with. He stood there in silence, tall, broad-shouldered, military buzz cut, wearing a faded hoodie, scars crawling up his forearm like war tattoos. The spilled latte steamed on his shirt, but his eyes, they burned colder than ice. I, I'm so sorry, she stammered, pulling tissues from her Hermes bag. Let me... Don't, he cut her off, his voice calm but sharp. I've had worse spilled on me in Afghanistan. She blinked. Afghanistan? A beat of silence hung in the air, as people awkwardly pretended not to stare. The heiress, Natalia Royce, daughter of steel magnate Douglas Royce, wasn't used to being spoken to like that. Not by men in cafes, not by anyone. Are you okay? She asked, quieter this time. He gave a slight nod. Fine. Coffee's nothing. He turned to leave, but something in her stopped him. Wait, she called, stepping forward. That was rude of me. I wasn't watching where I was going. Her voice had softened, sincere now. At least let me pay for your dry cleaning. He looked down at his shirt and then back at her. This shirt's been through war zones. Pretty sure it can handle Starbucks. The corner of her mouth twitched. Was that humor? He walked out, but that night she couldn't stop thinking about him. Not just the muscles or the mystery, but how utterly unshaken he was. She lived in a world of whispered apologies and fake smiles, but he looked at her like she wasn't royalty at all, and somehow that made her want to be real. So the next morning she came back, same cafe, same hour, and there he was again, sitting alone, sipping black coffee like it owed him money. She hesitated, then approached. You're back, he said without looking up, and you're still ignoring the dry cleaning offer. A ghost of a smile crossed his lips. You're persistent, princess. Natalia, she corrected. Logan, he replied, finally meeting her eyes. They sat, talked. For 15 minutes that turned into 50. She learned he was ex-SEAL, honorably discharged after a classified rescue mission gone wrong. She didn't ask more. She could tell by the flicker in his eyes that some stories weren't meant for daylight. He learned she hated her family's legacy, that she gave up her trust fund to start a nonprofit for orphan teens, that everyone saw her as just a pretty face, never knowing the battles she fought behind marble gates. Day after day she returned, and he was always there. They didn't touch, barely flirted, but the air between them crackled louder than thunder. One day she brought him a gift, a new hoodie. He raised an eyebrow. You trying to fix me now? No, she smiled. I just thought, maybe it's time to wear something that hasn't been through hell. He took it, didn't say thank you, just looked at her in a way that was a thank you, in a way that made her chest feel too small for her heart. But just when she thought the distance between their worlds had vanished, her past came crashing back. Her father, in the cafe, towering, furious. Get away from him, he snapped. You're embarrassing the family. Logan stood, calm, unmoving. Sir, with all due respect, you think a soldier like you can date my daughter? She's a Royce. You're a stray dog with a badge. Natalia's face turned white. The whole cafe fell silent again. But Logan, he didn't defend himself. He just looked at her, waiting, watching if she'd defend him. She stepped forward. Dad, she said quietly, he's not a stray dog. He's the only man who's ever treated me like a person. Douglas Royce scoffed. You're making a mistake. No, she said, turning to Logan, eyes full of fire. You did, when you judged him without knowing what he's survived. And in that moment, Logan saw her not as a billionaire heiress, but as a warrior of her own kind. Her father stormed out. Logan looked at her, speechless. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to, she said, because I've lived in a palace my whole life. But you taught me how to be brave. For the first time, he reached for her hand. You taught me how to feel again, he whispered, and that's scarier than any battlefield. She smiled. Then we're even. The cafe erupted in soft applause. A barista wiped a tear. The universe for once felt aligned, because sometimes the most unexpected collisions lead to the most beautiful awakenings. Before we end, we want to hear from you. Comment below with your city, your country, and the moment that made you feel something. Your engagement helps this message reach even more hearts. Like, share, and stay connected by subscribing.